All right. Hello, everybody. This is a video where I'm going to be going over what exactly is volume and frequency. Okay, I'll give you guys a simple definition right here. So, volume is essentially your workload, and typically it's going to be based on the week. So, I put weekly right here. Again, volume. Ooh, I put workout. Wow. Whoops. Cannot be making mistakes like that this early in the video, man. Wow. Workload. So volume is going to be your workload, and typically is going to be measured throughout the week. To be more specific, volume is basically the total amount of work done on a muscle based on a certain amount of sets per muscle group per week. So a set, real quick. Actually, first let's go over a rep. A rep is essentially just like one unit of movement. Right, unit movement. All right. I'll give you guys an example. Let's take a push-up, for example. Oop. Yeah, I need to charge my iPad. So push-up, obviously I hope you guys know what a push-up is. I'll just make a quick diagram right here. Maybe go down. Let me do a different color. So you go down, you push yourself up, and then you repeat. Right? You keep going until you can't do any push-ups anymore. That would be an example of training to failure. But my point is that doing that initial down and up motion just one time, doing that one cycle one time, is considered one rep. Essentially, when I say one unit of movement, I'm basically saying you going back and forth once with a exercise. Another example is going to be a squat. Right? I don't know if I can maybe do this. Yeah. I'm curious on how I'm going to draw this. Let me do a different color. So you got the barbell here, boom, boom. They got the plates. Guy here, boom, boom. This is really shitty, but anyways, you squat down, right? You're gonna be in this position. He's doing the fucking splits, which you should not be doing. Wow, okay, you know what? Ignore the diagram. I'm trying my best, guys. But anyways, you gotta push it back up, right? I'm wondering if I can actually draw this better to make this more obvious here. It kind of looks like he's taking a shit right now, but the point is, you squat down and you go back up. That is one unit of movement, aka one rep. All right. A set. Let me go back to a different color. A set is a collection of reps. So I don't know if you guys are super experienced with like looking at workout programs, but an example would be like, say I'm asking you to do 3 sets of 12. What I'm asking you to do is do 12 reps, aka 12 units of movement, and you do that 3 times. All right? You do that for 3 sets. That's really just what it means. So when we measure our weekly volume, we, again, like I said, you measure it throughout the week. So you kind of just look at how much work you've done throughout each training session, and you just look at the sum of how much work you've done. All right, it's just your weekly volume is really just your sum of all of the training you did on a muscle group. And since I keep saying weekly too much, it's starting to get annoying for me too. But again, we measure this in weeks so that on a weekly basis, we can, just see like if we're like slowly improving or something like that, giving us enough time to like adjust and grow. Um, One way to make sure that you do get enough volume on your muscles is through frequency. Specifically, training frequency. And really, all this is just how often. Oh, wow. Wow. I started, I was about to finish the word how, and then I just thought about often. I don't know, it's just a mess right now. But how often, frequency, how often you train. More specifically, if we were talking about a specific muscle group, we would say, how often do you train that muscle group? Throughout a week, of course, because we want to keep the same unit of measurement, alongside our volume for this, right? Ideally, you would want to hit, your muscles 2 times per week. All right, that means you hit your chest twice per week, right? You got 2 chest sessions, you got 2 back sessions. You want to be able to make sure that you hit each muscle group at least 2 times per week. Whether you do upper lower, or you do full body, or you do push pull legs, you want to at least do it 2 times per week. I'm saying 2 because it's kind of the sweet spot where you're doing lots of work, but you're not doing too much work. 3 times a week, it can often be like a lot for people, especially if your recovery is not on point or if it's not like optimal. And I just think that 1 time per week is just personally not enough. I just don't think it takes a whole week to recover from a workout. I think that, I mean, at the beginning, it'll take you like a minute to recover, but as you get more experience, guys, your recovery is not going to be as bad. It's not going to take as long. That's just really just from my personal experience and a lot of the people that I know. So 2 times a week is pretty much ideal. Volume. And by the way, when I recommend 2, just like it's just a recommendation. Obviously, I want you guys to go out in the real world and experiment with like with splits and like training styles. So if 1 works better for you, or if 3 works better for you, then please go right ahead and train how you need to train. I'm just giving you guys a recommendation. Anyways, the amount of volume they want to do really depends on the muscle group. So I noticed that as I was training, muscles that require more endurance and muscles that require more power, you can play with the volume with those. So, for example, if I'm doing a chest exercise, it's the volume's going to be kind of more strength focused, where I'm doing less reps and less sets but higher intensity. For example, if let's say bench, maybe like 8 reps for, maybe even less, to be honest. You can go for like 6 reps or like for like 2 sets maybe. And something endurance based, like for example your shoulders, like when you isolate your shoulders, you want to do lots of volume on them because they need lots of volume. So for shoulders, maybe do like 4 sets of 15 to 20, right? Now obviously these are kind of extreme. I just want to make a point that each muscle kind of has its own needs. you are able to like generally train it. Like for example, if you do like 12 reps for everything, that's like kind of like 8 to 12 reps is like it kind of applies to everything. If you really get, I guess if you really want to be optimal, you can go for like something like these, like, and maybe like on some days for your muscles that require more power, you would like do more volume. Like you would have like a volume focused workout. So maybe one day you do 6 for 2 sets, and then the next day you next push session or chest day you do like, I don't know, like 4 sets for, I don't know, maybe like 12, something like that, or even like as high as like 15. That might be overkill, but it's just something that you should play with. It's just something. This whole video is just I want to go over the basic definitions of volume and frequency. Don't mind the rain right now. Yeah, it's just stormed outside, so I don't know if you guys can hear that. But anyways, I just want to make this quick video explaining the basics of volume and frequency to you guys who are starting out, and hopefully even if you are more advanced, this will somehow help you out. I mean it's pretty basic, but I don't know, maybe somebody sees something I don't. Anyways, I hope you guys take care. Y'all have a good one.